Welcome back to Wave of Dalker. The Orioles season is over, and yeah, I'm going to talk about it for a little bit. Orioles lost 2-1 today to the Kansas City Royals. Zach Eflin went, 5 innings, 1 earned run. Yesterday, Corbin Burns went 8 1/3 inning, 1 earned run. And you'd think, let's see. Here's the analogy I'm going to go. I was trying to think of something. In 40 years, when I'm with my 45 years, 50 years, when I'm with my grandkids, I'll be like, kids, get over here. When we're watching, the Neo Baltimore Cyberbirds, whatever the hell they are, in 50 years, I'll be like, when I was your age, when I was 20, I watched Corbin Burns and Zach Eflin go out in back-to-back days in Camden Yards. And Corbin Burns went 8 1/3 inning, gave up 1 earned run. And Zach Eflin went 5 innings and gave up 1 earned run. And I'm like, Granddaddy, did the Orioles win those games? Like, no. They scored 1 run in 18 innings, and they're going to be like, that sucked, Granddaddy. And then I'm going to no, that's terrible. And I'm gonna cry into my grandkids' arms. That was a really bad analogy, but that's just how I feel. This Orioles team has been free-falling since the All-Star break, and there's been a few things for us to grab onto. We're free-falling, and then our parachute worked for a second, then it breaks again. We're like, oh, shoot. Santander Grand Slam. Playoff clincher against the Yankees. A number of moments in the second half that I can't think of right now where we're like, oh, wait, maybe this team is back. And then we're back down again. And then we're back. And then we're back down again. And that sweep against Minnesota got me in the right mood. It's like, okay, Westy's back. Arias back. Webb, Coulomb, Mountcastle back. Our guys are back. It feels good. We're going into the playoffs. Home field advantage. 3 games in Camden Yards potentially. Corbin Burns on the bump. Our all-season acquisition. We've got this. We're going to do this. And then one side of this team looked fantastic. The pitching was incredible. The Royals are a good baseball team. They have one of the best contact hitter, hitting, base running, defensive, a top 3 player in baseball this season on their team. They have one of the best rotations in baseball this season. Cole Ragans, Seth Lugo, Brady Singer, Michael Wacha, incredible pitching staff. Vinny Pasquantino, one of the best, power hitters, RBI guys. Salvador Perez, one of the best catchers in baseball. This is a good baseball team. And our pitching staff went out there and allowed 3 earned runs over 18 innings against a playoff team, a team that deserved to be there. And our bats just didn't show up. Santander had 1 hit, hitless. Adley had 1 hit. Gunnar, I think, was hitless. Cedric Mullins was the only guy that really showed up consistently in this. Colton Cowser, bases loaded, swing and a miss. Hits his hand. That was the cherry on top for this. Just a really frustrating end to a season at one point where I was like, this is awesome. A season I was more excited for than last season. Going into the last season, 83 wins, 2022. Adley Rutschman, second and rookie of the year. First full year Gunnar Henderson, first full year Jordan Westberg. Grayson, Bradish, Dean, coming off of, our first winning season in 6 years, 2022 was, and then going into the next season, I was like, okay, all right, 2023, we're ready for this. Great season, 101 wins, won the American League East, bye in the first week of the playoffs, got swept by the Rangers, whatever. Licking our wounds, I was like, all right, that was a great, real first year back into contention. Going into this year, I was like, okay, we won the division, 100 games, 100 wins, Gunnar Henderson Rookie of the Year, Corbin Burns, hell fucking yes. I was like, this is gonna be the year. This feels great. First half was awesome. Corbin Burns was what we signed up for. Adley Rutschman was batting 290, 350 batting average. Gunnar Henderson was looking like an MVP frontrunner, 2 or 3 guy. Westberg All-Star, Tony All-Star. Grayson looked great, albeit, no Bautista, no Bradish, no Means, no Wells, but we were, making do with it. And then the second half just... And honestly, this is a more painful stretch for me as a fan of, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Baltimore Orioles. This is a more painful stretch for me than the 2023 Eagles. Starting off, we started off, 10-1, and then we went, what was our final record? We were 10-1, that's 11 weeks. We went 1-7 to close out the year, losing to the Bucks. That season was awful, and this season was even worse. Just having to watch these last 18 innings of Baltimore Orioles baseball was insane. It was torture. And I was working, I was out on the floor, serving tables, just watching this, just like just free falling. I couldn't believe it. It was just ridiculous. And, going into this offseason, this is the first offseason, full offseason with Rubenstein working in, as the owner with Mike Elias with a larger payroll. Corbin Burns' contract is up. Anthony Santander's contract is up. A lot of decisions are to be made. And you could argue that this team, you could argue and you would win that argument that this team needs veteran leadership. You look at last year's team, while Kyle Gibson, Adam Frazier, Aaron Hicks did not fill up the stat sheet, their contributions to that team were evident. Adam Frazier, go-ahead double in that playoff clincher against the Tampa Bay Rays last year. Aaron Hicks, probably our best postseason hitter from last season, just a good switch-hitting guy that plays good outfield defense. DH, outfield guy. Kyle Gibson, 33 starts, 15 wins, 8 innings. He did his shit. He did what we needed to do. And yes, this team was injured, but we need veteran leadership. I love our young guys. I love Gunnar Henderson. I love Adley Rutschman. I love Jordan Westberg, Jackson Holliday, Heston Kjerstad, Kobe Mayo. I love those guys. I love them. I love our pitching. I love our pitchers. But we need somebody that's been there. Jordan Westberg and Gunnar Henderson have that great, bulldog mentality. Like they are guys that, you can look to for that sort of clutch hit, that great play in the field. But they're young. Jordan Westberg's what? Jordan Westberg's like 26, Gunner's 22. They can't be, you can't have 25 and 24-year-olds looking to 26-year-olds. Yes, they can be these immensely talented players, but you need that veteran presence in the locker room that's been there, that knows what it takes to win. These are winning baseball teams. We've won, let's see the math, 184 plus 91. We've won 175 games in the last 3 seasons. This is a winning baseball team. This is one of the best, the most winningest, whatever the hell, clubs of the last 3 seasons. But we've lost all 5 of the postseason games we've played in. That's not going to cut it. This offseason, I want to see one of, or both, if possible, a Santander or Burns contract. I think that'd be awesome. While unrealistic, and it seems that Tony's going to leave, which is a knife in my fucking chest. That is awful. I am not a fan of that. But if he's, bona fide leaving, if we can find a way to keep Burns around here, that's awesome. He was, the second or third best pitcher in the American League this year. We need a guy like that. And, going into next year, Grayson will be back. Bautista will probably be back. Probably be back. We could, see Wells or Bradish in the first, 3 to 4 months of the season. This team is getting healthier, but we need somebody that can lead this team. And I'm not looking at fucking Brandon Hyde. I love Brandon Hyde. I love what he's been able to do for these guys. He's a great locker room guy. He's a fun dude. He has that that big baseball dad energy, but he's just not situationally. He's not, his managerial style in situations where it's essential to be sort of aggressive is not there. I'm going to point to directly to the game yesterday. Ramon Arias on second, Cedric, bloop single to right, and we're not sending Ramon Arias. You have to make them make that play in the playoffs. Sure, you could say that, 85% of plays with that exact same archetype runner on second, launch angle of whatever the hell with a, 85 mile per hour exit velocity, get tagged out at home 90% of the time, but it's the playoffs. And you've seen how bad this team can be in droves. You've seen how their bats can just go dead. And you're going to be like, you know what, Arias, we're going to hold you. We're going to go first and third with 2 outs, or however many outs it is. We're going to let our guys, swing upwards and really try to hit it over the right field scoreboard. Ryan O'Hearn getting on base with a walk and not pinch running him for a guy like Jackson Holliday, who is, in the upper, 2 or 3 of sprint speed on the team. It's just the lack of aggression. And obviously, Brandon Hyde is not taking at bats for this team. The bats were absolutely fucking dead. That is immensely evident. 1 run in 18 innings of playoff baseball is inexcusable. But in the instances where we had a chance to score something, he was not he was not managing in a way that I feel is cohesive with winning. He is a big lefty-righty guy. I just saw a stat on Twitter where, Austin Slater pinch hit for Ryan O'Hearn when Austin Slater is hitting, it was like 150 something against lefties, and Ryan O'Hearn is hitting like 250 against them. It's like, righty-lefty, like that's how like Ty Cobb and like Rogers Hornsby were hitting. Like this is an era of baseball where the best player in the world is a guy who, got Tommy John surgery and put up the best season for a DH in history. Lefty-righty isn't exactly the bread and butter of what we need to be doing as a manager. But yeah, it just stinks. It really stinks. I love baseball season. I love getting to watch my favorite team play, every day for 6 months. That makes me happy. And yeah, the Eagles are not playing good football right now, and they're on a bye this week, so I don't really have anything to hone in on. The Sacramento Kings start playing basketball soon, though, so that's exciting. I love the Kings, love De'Aaron Fox. DeMar DeRozan is a King, that's exciting. But yeah, all in all, just a real bummer of a season. This is the season where this is the most games I've gone to in a year. I went to, 3 away stadiums to watch the Orioles play. That was a lot of fun. It was a fun season. I love the Orioles. They make me happy. I love talking to them. I love talking to other people about the Orioles. And it just thinks that, most of the conversations about them is going to be pretty bleak until, I don't know, February or March. And I'm really dreading, hot stove talk around the Orioles. I want to keep Burns. I want to keep Tony, but I know it's not realistic. It just stinks. It's just... And I'm glad I was at work when we lost. Because, I was feeling it at work. But I think if I was here or, at the stadium, I think I'd be, crying. But I don't know. I kind of saw this coming. It was a lot of just false hope going into it. I was like, oh, this team shares a lot of similarities, outline-wise with the 2023 Rangers, a team that kind of limped into the playoffs, lost a star pitcher early in the year. Maybe this is a team that can make a run. But then I remembered the hitting philosophy of the Baltimore Orioles this year. Swing up and, go for the long ball. And it's just... It just really stinks. Gunnar had a great year. What about 281, 37 homers, really great defense. Tony had a fantastic year for a slugger, like a Kyle Schwarber, Pete Alonso-esque season in that vein of those hitters. Corbin Burns, obviously, fantastic year. I thought Westy was great this year. Other than that, I think this is just kind of a step back from the 2023 team, and that stinks to say. But, injuries will do that to you, and baseball's a tough game. It's 6 months of everyday play, and it's a game where it's kind of hard to get out of a slump. And, it's believed that Adley was playing through, I think, a hand or back injury, so I'm a big believer that he's going to have a great year in 2025. But, man, it just sucks. It's such a bummer. I'm just going to miss watching them every day. It's a constant. It's a constant in my life, and it's just going to stink to not have that anymore. Should be a great rest of the playoffs, though. I'm going to be rooting for the Guardians. My cousin is a base running and outfield coach for them, so go Guards. And I'll probably root for the Pods, Manny Machado, or I'd say probably the Mets on the other side. But yeah, it just sucks. I'm going to miss the Orioles. But hey, next year is only what? When's the first game? March 31st, March 28th? That's only... 5.5 months away. Oh boy. But yeah, a lot of work to do in the offseason, acquisition-wise, and, just front office-wise. I hope Mike Elias and David Rube get their shit together and really acknowledge the issues with this team. I hope the hitting coaches get sent to prison, I guess. But yeah, it'd be nice to just have a relatively fully healthy roster. The first game that Felix Bautista comes back, I'm going to lose my shit. That's going to be fucking awesome. I'm a big believer in an Adley bounce back year. I think we're going to have a great season next year. I think we just need to really baseball's hard. 29 teams don't win the World Series every year. Like, that's just kind of a fact that everyone really needs to acknowledge as a baseball fan. And I saw another tweet today where it's like baseball is designed to, cause us pain. Like, it starts in the spring where everything is blooming, and then it ends in, the cold, wilting start of fall and winter. And then we could, it'll end when we need it the most. And I totally resonate with that. It's just, it stinks. It's just, I keep saying that, but like I said, it's just a constant in my life, and I'm gonna miss talking about them every day. Like, oh, you watched the game last night? Yeah, like, I had a great talk to, like, I interned at the radio station at my college, and I talk with this guy all the time. He's one of the directors there, but I had a great talk with him about the Orioles today. It's just such an easy thing to talk about, and that's why I love talking sports, because you could talk to total strangers about it. I mean, this guy's not a stranger, but it's just such a, I feel like everybody's watching it in town, everybody's watching it in Maryland, and it's so great to be able to talk to somebody about that. But I'm gonna miss having positive talks about the Orioles, because it's gonna be a lot of what will ownership do, what will whatever do. But yeah, disappointing end to what was a fun season, I think. And if I had to sum up, and it was fun. It was fun for a time. It was a kind of a drag these last few months, but I don't know. Yeah, it sucks. Go Orioles. Adley Rutschman 2025 MVP. It's our year next year, which is what I said last year. But I mean, to be fair, a lot of the outlook from a lot of Orioles fans has been like that 2025, 2026 window. I mean, our guys are young. We're going to have a solid roster for the next few years, as long as ownership is smart. I really just can't bear to see any of these guys like Gunnar or Adley in another jersey. Like, I want to see these guys that kind of sparked the return of a really good ball club stay with us, because I don't want to see like another Manny situation. I'm going to crash out if I have to see like Adley wear another jersey or Gunnar. But yeah, I mean, 2024 season's over. I got to get over it. But I won't. But yeah, go Orioles, as always. Yeah, last Orioles Twitter for a while. I'll probably pick it back up once free agent stuff starts to pick up. But yeah, that's how it ends. And it stinks. But that's baseball. Go Orioles, and peace out.